Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out the most bizarre UK number ones of the 1990s.
Britain in the 90s had some great number one singles. Songs that summed up a moment, stretched the boundaries of what pop could be, yet have stood the test of time. Nothing Compares to You, Don't Look Back in Anger, Wannabe, Firestarter, Baby One More Time. From this list you would think that the British record buying public had excellent, undeniable taste. But then there are other songs where you wonder, how did that become the most popular song in the country?
Oh, yes.
Whether that's because it's a confusing mishmash of genres, defiantly uncommercial, or offensively not very good. This is an exploration of those songs. The stories of the most bizarre UK number ones
Mr. Blobby
of the 1990s.
Awesome. Oh, yo, I've been waiting to react to this. I saw it show up a couple weeks ago, and I thought, I gotta give it more time. Let them, go watch it on Trash Theory, and then come back here for the reaction. I think that's a good idea. But I can't resist anymore. I have to watch it. I reacted to one that I think was the most bizarre number ones, UK number ones of the 1980s, and there were some bizarre songs, like really weird. Exactly what he's talking about. You think, how did this get to number one? It's so strange. Like a lot of novelty songs, a lot of ridiculousness, and just funny stuff, Anyway, I'm looking forward to checking this one out. Be sure to go to Trash Theory and like and subscribe. Maybe pick up a mug or a t-shirt. Okay. Timmy Mallet and Bomb Ballerina, August 1990, Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. I know this song. Number one for 3 weeks. Wait, this is in the 90s? Wasn't this a song from the 50s or something? Okay. 3 weeks it was number one. What?
Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini was written in 1959, inspired by his 2-year-old daughter's hesitance to try on her first swimsuit. Paul Vance, alongside songwriting partner Chris, dreamt up a rock and roll novelty based on the very European, midriff exposing beachwear. It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. Given to up-and-coming crooner Brian Hyland, it was a global hit and helped the formerly prudish US fall in love with the bikini.
Somebody would say 2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
In the UK, the song only reached number 8. It would take 30 years, a kids' TV presenter and the composer of the West End musical Phantom of the Opera to take it to the top.
Oh.
It was an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini.
It all started off as a bet. Andrew Lloyd Webber's wife, Madeline, felt that while he'd had ample success on the stage, he could never produce a summer pop hit. Taking this personally, he vowed to prove her wrong. The flamboyantly dressed and bespectacled Timmy Mallet had introduced himself to Britain's children in the 80s as presenter of ITV's Saturday morning kids shows, Wide Awake Club and Whack-A-Day. His trademark brand of wackiness involved catchphrases like utterly brilliant and blurg, and most importantly, Pinky Punky, a soft foam hammer with which he bonked child contestants on the head after they failed word association questions. By 1990, he was beloved by the nation's youth, and so was deemed a suitable choice to front the Brian Hyland cover and Lloyd Webber's secret campaign for chart glory. But to give a wink to who was really in charge behind the scenes, it was released under the name Bomb Ballerina, one of the cats from Cats. It took only 2 days between the two men's initial meeting and getting into the studio. The track reimagined from rock and roll confection to the maximalist pop house of the day.
Was afraid that somebody would see 2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
Complete with sampled interjections from Run DMC.
What?
How y'all feel out there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Their chart ascent was aided by a shonky video showing the titular adjective-stacked bikini on an adult woman, as well as a timely headline in The Sun, Princess Diana being papped in the aforementioned swimwear, besides the words, Itsy Bitsy dies a dream in her bikini.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It hit number 1 in the last week of July 1990, denying the DNA remix of Suzanne Vega's Tom's Diner.
I remember that one. Oh, what a weird song.
But whether Mallet actually sang on the song is up for debate. One of the group's backing singers, Everton Barnes, claimed that he was the voice on the track.
She was afraid to come out in the open.
The producers decided Timmy was perfect to do the vocals, as he was all the rage. But when they got him into the studio, his voice was as flat as a pancake.
Oh no.
I sang the whole vocal track, and Timmy's was shunted into the background.
Okay. Iron Maiden? Hang on, I don't want to get ahead. Wow. Okay, so Andrew Lloyd Webber had a bet with his wife? Or his wife was like negging him? You can't get a song in the charts, you loser. And he was like, yes I can, you yes I can. But he did it as a secret, is what I'm gathering. And then this guy, the children's, I forgot his name already, Timmy Mallet, he was deemed a suitable choice because he was beloved by the nation's youth. Okay. But when they got him in the studio, he sucked. Timmy Mallet, I'm so sorry. On the song, I do hear a couple of voices, so he may have actually sung on it, but he's in the background, and like that background singer was saying, his background voice was pulled to the front. I believe him. That's hilarious. I think they made a good choice with making it a techno beat, like, you know, danceable. Sounds like a remix almost, and it has those Run DMC samples. At first I thought when he said Run DMC was involved that like Run DMC did a verse or they were in the studio actually doing something original for it, but they just sampled them. The video is eye-catching. Something about Princess Diana, what'd they say? Itsy bitsy dies a dream in her bikini. What happens if I type that in? It looks like they've wiped any knowledge of that off the internet. Basically, the paparazzi took pictures of her in her bikini. It denied Suzanne Vega's Tom's Diner the top spot. That was a huge hit. I know in the States. I bet it was in the UK too. I mean, I guess I got to number 2. It was so different at the time because it was a nice melody, but there's something about there being no real lyrics that was kind of novel. What's this I hear about Iron Maiden? Iron Maiden and Chart Metal, January 1991. Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Number 1 for 2 weeks. Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Iron Maiden. Okay, so this was probably like the very next number 1 after Itsy Bitsy Teeny Bikini.
Heavy metal has rarely had pop crossover appeal. While its fan base is devoted and loyal, the likes of
Metallica
rarely had pop crossover appeal. While its fan base is devoted and loyal, the likes of Judas Priest and pre-Black Album Metallica never got much play on BBC Radio 1. As such, metal bands found it hard to get more than a token chart hit.
Number 4. Or 12. Back up to number 15. Wow. Yes. Yo, I'm a big Metallica fan. When I was in high school, they were my absolute favorite. I was obsessed with Metallica. I just want to hear that Judas Priest song again. The snare drum is extra tasty. I love a dry snare drum with a snappy attack.
Iron Maiden were an exception.
Bruce Dickinson.
Since Run to the Hills in February 1982, their first single with Air Raid Siren vocalist Bruce Dickinson, 13 of their singles had gone top 20.
Wow.
So on Christmas Eve 1990, they released Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, their second single from the No Prayer for the Dying album.
Oh, wow. Yo, so I have an older brother, and he was into Iron Maiden. He had these albums with the Eddie character, and he used to freak me out. It made me afraid to listen to the music. I thought the music was satanic or something, but it's actually pretty, Like, not that scary. But this image, I remember it. Terrifying.
Second single from the No Prayer for the Dying album.
Bring your daughter to the slaughter.
It had been written in about 3 minutes as a Dickinson solo track for the 1989 horror film A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
Bring your daughter to the slaughter.
It was a slocky ode to the fear of female sexual awakening, with some suitably one-note single entendres.
Of course.
Unchain your back door and invite me around.
Though Dickinson's version would win the Razzie for Worst Original Song in 1990, Maiden bassist Steve Harris was impressed, and the band re-recorded it for their next album.
Oh.
How we got...
Wait, so Bruce Dickinson did that on his solo album. It was voted as the worst song that year. And then Iron Maiden said, we love it, or the bass player did. And they covered it. Wow. Balls. And then it went to number 1.
How we got to number 1 was conscious chart strategy. The week after Christmas is typically light on new releases. So the band issuing the single on Christmas Eve took advantage of the relative lack of competition, while the faithful would buy anything Maiden put out. A combination of multiple different single formats, and acting as counter-programming to the Christ-themed current number 1, Saviour's Day by Cliff Richard, drove sales. The fact that Radio 1 banned the single from airplay helped further, adding a curiosity for the forbidden.
Let her go.
And even when it did get to the top spot, Top of the Pops censored their horror film-themed music video.
They showed 1 minute 10 seconds of it or something, which the song is about 3.5 minutes long. So you'd think that they could show a bit more of it. There's some black and white bits from an old Hammer horror movie we put in there, showing a woman being sort of like taken to the slaughter, and all the rest of it, But the BBC, thought that it was obviously, too much cowabunga going on for the, for the viewers on Top of the Pops. So they decided to edit it themselves. And then everybody else on telly did a sort of knee-jerk reaction.
Bring Your Daughter would remain at number 1 for 2 weeks. The nation's first metal number 1. It wouldn't happen again for another decade.
Y'all, I don't like Limp Bizkit, but what I just heard sounded really good. So I think that was a brilliant move for them to release it on Christmas Eve. Because, that week after Christmas till New Year's, nothing's going on. I actually love that week. It feels like the whole world is taking time off and just chilling, staying inside, drinking tea. I love that. But then they had these scenes from this movie, which is weird that it was from an old film, but the BBC said no. I guess it was the context, probably, I guess. But it helped them out. It got it to number 1 for being forbidden. Forbidden. Hilarious. Enigma, January 1991, Sadness, Part 1, number 1 for 1 week. So this must have been January 91, right after the last song, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Wow, the pendulum is swinging. Yes.
By
Right.
1990, Romanian-born Michael Cretu had quietly made himself an important part of Europop. He'd played keyboards on Boney M's Rivers of Babylon. And he'd produced hits for his mononymic German pop star partner, Sandra. In 1987, they bagged a top 5 single in Greece, West Germany and Switzerland, with Sandra's version of Everlasting Love. Its intro, the cathedral reverb chant of the title phrase, would point towards their future, but also the past.
It sounds like Enigma.
Sandra's keyboardist, Frank Peterson, had been interested in the idea of combining centuries-old Gregorian chants with dance pop, ever since he'd seen the Sean Connery starring medieval actioner, The Name of the Rose.
That's what gave him the idea. I feel like that became kind of a formula for a little bit, didn't it? There were more than one song with monks and a dance beat, right?
To maintain secrecy about their identity and avoid preconceptions, they together launched a new dance project as Enigma and used pseudonyms like Curly MC and F. Gregorian. On their first single, Sardinus Part 1, they mixed together sampled Gregorian chant, synthesized flute, and the soul-to-soul shuffle beat as the bass for a dance track.
I remember that. Yo, I reacted to that soul to soul. That, yes. I reacted to that. It's a very good documentary that Trash Theory put out. Check it out. Let's listen to it. Right.
Topped off with breathy exertions, and Sandra whispering in French references to 18th century author, the Marquis de Sade. It was the religious intermingling with the carnal, medieval but modern, and listeners couldn't get enough. Released by Virgin in October 1990, before they even made a video for the track, with just radio and club play alone, Sardinus went to #1 in Germany, faster than any other in their chart's history. By the time it hit the UK, the song was infamous. The Vatican had decried the track as blasphemous for its randy use of monk chanting, and banned it from all their affiliated radio stations, which of course made people want to hear it more.
Yeah.
People don't understand that this song isn't a joke. Gregorian chants are the base of classical music as we know it. It was Pope Gregor I in the 6th century who said it was okay to play music. It started a wave of other producers attempting their own medieval-themed house. But by 1993, Enigma had moved on, with the return of innocence replacing 6th century chanting, but ethnic yodeling.
Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, Mr. Blobby. I didn't realize that was the same group. Return to Innocence. I feel like they're making it tough on themselves by going from genre to genre, style, jumping styles so much. But, I mean, they're good at what they do, so they seem to have success at whatever genre they choose. I mean, it is all kind of like dance, but like the methods and the marketing of it, like the face of it keeps changing. Good for them. I remember that song so well. I feel like now whenever I hear it, it makes me laugh because I think of Tropic Thunder. Before the film starts, there's these fake movie previews, and one of them has Robert Downey Jr. and Tobey Maguire in a film about two gay monks, and I think they play that song. And it makes it seem like they're about to get down, get busy. Anyway, Mr. Blobby was on the thumbnail, so I knew he was going to show up eventually. Mr. Blobby, December 1993. Mr. Blobby, #1 for 3 non-consecutive weeks. Mr. Blobby, Mr. Blobby. 3 non-consecutive weeks. It got to #1. Then it fell out. Then it went back. This is weird. How, I'm so interested to understand how this happened. It must be the video, because the video looks funny.
Mr. Blobby is an entirely British phenomenon. A 7-foot, pear-shaped, pink and yellow foam rubber-covered agent
Terrifying.
of chaos, designed to be the stupidest, most irritating thing ever. Naked apart from a bow tie, with a fixed smile, aimless eyes, and an electronically altered voice that made him sound like a hell demon, even though the only thing he could say was his own surname. He was invented by producer Michael Lego for a prank segment on the BBC's 1990's Saturday night TV show, Noel's House Party. The setup consisted of various celebrities getting convinced that Blobby was a real kid's mascot. Then they tried to teach the non-existent kids at home skills like rugby, dance and soccer, as the Blobby one tried his best to annoy his co-host and smashed the set. The gotcha was when house party host Noel Edmonds revealed himself to be in the suit, swearing and embarrassment ensued. After Mr. Blobby's first season of pre-taped skits, and with 15 million people watching every week aware of the joke, they couldn't use him for pranks anymore. But it was by far the most popular part of the show, got the majority of the fan mail, so Shakespearean actor Barry Killerby filled the foam rubber and remained on the show to spread disharmony whenever needed.
Shakespearean actor.
Britain's children either loved him with all their hearts or were understandably petrified of him. By 1993, you could buy t-shirts, plushes, inflatables, bubble bath, pasta shapes, and so much more in the image of the blancmange beast. Alike with Timmy Mallet before him, why not have him roll the airwaves too? Lego received a call from up-and-coming music mogul Simon Cowell about making that happen. I rather grandly said, we'd only consider doing a single with Mr Blobby if it's going to be Christmas #1. He said, you're on. When the Blobby single was released, I think that's when people who didn't already hate me for creating Blobby filled the rest of my wax doll with pins.
Funny.
Released in November 1993, the single, titled Mr Blobby, was a funhouse mirror reflection of a pop song, mixing together various elements from contemporary Eurohouse, Stockcake and Waterman Productions, Vanilla Ice, and the farting synths of Mr Blobby's own thrown together theme song.
Oh, okay.
It also features a child choir, various tempo shifts, a late song key change,
Whoa.
and lyrics that are either non sequiturs or ominously authoritarian.
No road too long, no tide too strong, no bridge too far, he's got a car. No slope too steep, no thought too deep.
He doesn't even really sing on it. After getting to #1 for a single week, it was briefly usurped by British boy band Take That's Babe.
Oh. Yo, there's some drama behind that band. I reacted to a video about a Trash Theory video. Be sure to check it out.
Only to return to the top for 2 more weeks, including the week of December 25th.
Oh. Simon won the bet.
Take That's Gary Barlow has said on more than one occasion.
Hang on, was there a little baby Blobby doing a soulful ad-lib there?
Take That's Gary Barlow has said on more than one occasion that this ruined his Christmas.
Oh,
when the
I
two pop
bet.
stars were reunited on Alan Carr's Chatty Man in December 2016, the seething
two
resentment
pop
was
stars.
still evident.
We are joined by the man who beat you to the Christmas #1 all those years ago. Mr. Blobby! Here we go.
Yeah, get him out of here. His lid came off. Violence. Take that. Take that. Mr. Blobby. So the producer said to Simon Cowell, we only want to do a Mr. Blobby song if it's going to be #1 during Christmas. The Christmas #1. Simon's like, you're on. And he did it, y'all. Sounds like a pretty intricate song, too. But Gary Barlow got his payback. Or he gave his payback. By tearing off his leg. Way to go, Gary. Dupe. March 1994. Dupe. #1 for 3 weeks. Dupe. Dupe.
In 1994, 7 years after the first house track got to #1 in the UK charts, dance producers were rummaging through music history for a hook. Something to make their tracks stand out amongst the other thumping, fall-to-the-floor beats. Enigma perhaps went too far back, over 1,000 years before the invention of recorded sound. While the banjo
did
house
what?
of Cotton Eye Joe built off a traditional folk song from the 1860s.
I hate that song.
Cotton Eye Joe, had not been for
Oh.
Cotton Eye Joe, I'd have been married a long time ago.
It's so annoying.
but two Dutch producers, Ferry Ridderhoff and Peter Ganevsky, sourced from the sounds of the 1920s for dupe.
Oh.
In the early 90s, the Netherlands club scene was divided between their homegrown, high-tempo, distorted, gabba, or hardcore house side.
Amsterdam, waar ligt het dan?
Whoa.
And the
Whoa. I have to hear those examples again. That's intense.
high-tempo, distorted, gabba, or hardcore house side.
Amsterdam, waar ligt het dan?
And the regular 130 BPM variety, which started being referred to as mellow house. Clean, quaint, and old-fashioned in comparison. But wanting to write pop, watching how people moved to it sparked an idea in Ridderhoff and Ganevsky. What impressed us at the mellow house parties was the way people were dancing, with their hands kind of waving, like the Charleston was danced in the 1920s and 1930s.
Ah.
That was our main source of inspiration for dupe.
Okay.
Unlike with Sadness, where Enigma used a sample, the dupes recorded a trio of jazz performers playing through some ragtimer-like compositions, which they cut up and rearranged into
Brilliant.
several different versions of the track in their living room.
That's really
alongside the hooting, trilling sax and clarinet. They constructed their house foundation from clattering snare, forceful hardcore kicks, and claps. Its terminally catchy, onomatopoeic refrain was delivered by Ridderhoff and sped up. Released as Dupe by Dupe, it quickly made the Netherlands pop chart and sold well throughout Europe. But in the UK, it went #1 after a 25-label battle for distribution rights, won by City Beat. But because of its Charleston framework, it crossed over in a big way, a novelty that was beloved by club kids and their grandparents.
Wow.
Not only that, but in the 41 years of the chart up to that point, Dupe was only the second ever eponymous UK #1. The first, if you haven't been paying attention, was Mr Blobby.
What do you mean?
4 months prior.
What do you mean eponymous? Hippopotamus? I don't know what he means. Eponymous. And I bet even though I'm looking up this word right now, there's going to be people in the comments who tell me what it is, as if I'm not looking it up. Eponymous. Of a person giving their name to something, named after a particular person. Oh. Oh. So Mr. Blobby's song was called Mr. Blobby, and Dupe was called Dupe. That's all that means. Why overcomplicate it with some 4-syllable word? I was kind of into this song until those vocals kicked in. Then it made me feel goofy for being into it. Made me feel like a dork, like a nerd, like a loser. Know what I mean? But before that, it was jamming. Y'all, I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you are too. We're already kind of far in. This is going to be a long video, so I think we're going to end this here for today, and then continue it on Friday. I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see y'all next time. Later.